So I hope that one way or another, you guys, every day, what I tell you in the record, every day above ground is a great day. Remember that. And if you step to life with that level of appreciation, I promise you, living is giving. The more you give, the more you receive. And it's an amazing ride. Pero oye, prepárate, because it's like this. Mira, ba, rápido, rápido. I tell my kids all the time, how old are you? They say 12. I say 15. My bad, 18. My bad, 21. Happens like that. So enjoy the ride. Live life. Don't let life live you. Bet.
So you've mentioned that you wouldn't be the person you are today if you hadn't been raised from Miami, if you hadn't come from Miami.
So,
how is Miami different today?
woo! Oh, man. I say this playing, but it's the truth. New York is the Big Apple. Miami is the pineapple, okay? We are the most industrial city below the Mason-Dixon, and even though we're the bottom, that's what, one of our nicknames, the bottom, the Magic City, 305, and Miami, I don't know if y'all know what Miami stands for, but money is a major issue. Miami is the new Ellis Island to Latin America and to the rest of the world. You know how they say, like, if you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere? Well, now Miami is. If you can make it in Miami, you can make it anywhere. Due to the melting pot, due to all the different cultures. And that's why when you hear me say, I believe in one race only, that's the human race. Why do I say that? Because growing up in Miami, I grew up around Cubans, Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, Colombians, Haitians, Bahamians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians. So therefore, you get this mixture of people and you really figure out how similar you are more than you are different. Whether it's through your food, whether it's through your dance, whether it's through the music, whether it's through your struggle. Because let me tell you, when you're in the neighborhood, it don't matter if you're black, white, pink, purple, orange. Only color that matters, green, baby. How we gonna get this green? If you got something I need and there's a way we can connect and make it happen, believe me, I don't care where you're from and you don't care where I'm from. How are we gonna come up together? And watching Miami within the last, I would say 25 years, and what it's become is unbelievable. But we fought for it. Miami's been the underdog to the world for many, many, many years, whether it be in music, whether it be in tech, whether it be in business. The only thing we weren't in the underdog was in the 80s, and that was the drug game. That was a different story, though. Negative to positive. So why I say that there's nowhere I would be who I am if it wasn't for Miami, all right? Because again, how I started off earlier, it gives me that chip on my shoulder. It gives me that no matter who steps to me, I don't care how big you are, what you do, or how you do it. I'm down to get in a fight. I was just telling someone backstage, what were we talking about? We were talking about the whole Will Smith thing with slapping Chris Rock. Yeah, you imagine that? That's how rumors get started. But I was like, for me, I don't believe it, number one. Number two, I just can't see a man get slapped and not do anything about it. Clearly, you're not from Miami, because that would have been a problem. I've had people throw things at my face in his own, so I can't imagine someone touching it. But again, it's not about winning the fight. It's about you going to remember me. After this fight is over with, part of your whole life, you're going to tell a story about me. That is Miami. Anytime you come to Miami, now mind you, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We all know that, right? But what happens in Miami never happened. But either or, you remember it always. And that's what makes Miami so special. And for me, it's an honor to be a part of Miami's growth, not only musically, but also for the entrepreneurs, for the tech side, for the education side, and literally put to one of the neighborhoods I used to live in, which is Wynwood. Believe me, completely different Wynwood than what it is right now. But I'm happy for them. They used to say, don't talk about it, be about it. And that's what Miami's about. And in today's day and age where the fake gets celebrated and the real get hated, you just gotta keep fighting. And if you like it, then it's fun. Welcome to the crib. Another nickname for Miami.
So you've talked about your mom and some of your teachers encouraging you and pushing you to pursue music, and that without them you wouldn't be where you are today. As a teacher, I certainly try hard to encourage my students any way I can. What advice would you give to our audience about how to stay focused and driven when they're not getting that kind of encouragement from anywhere?
So, another reason it's so special to be here tonight, I used to park cars at the Orange Bowl when I was about 6 years old, when I lived in Little Havana. So to be able to be speaking here in front of the University of Miami and seeing the growth and where you guys are at now. Congratulations on the Elite, by the way, Elite 8, by the way. That's right. You know, it's amazing how it comes full circle. I didn't graduate from high school. I went to about 25 different schools. I've lived in good, bad, worse neighborhoods. And the funny thing is the worst things I saw in the good neighborhoods, believe it or not. At least here in Miami. And it was a teacher that changed my life. And this teacher's name is Hope. Hope Martinez changed my life. I was at a high school called Coral Park at the time. Yeah, one time for the Rams. But I also did South Miami, Coral Gables, South Ridge, so, you know. And one day I was rapping in the hallways, and they thought it was a fight. Back then there was a lot of gangs back then. I mean, an alphabet full of gangs at the time. So they thought it might have been something else. And when the teacher breaks through, and Hope Martinez breaks through, which, by the way, came to UM. Wow. Mira, para que tú veas. Like Willie Chirino says, lo que está para ti, tan, nadie te lo quita. That means whatever's meant to be for you will be. So, my bad I don't come with subtitles sometimes. I gotta invest into that. But Hope pulled me to the side and she said, does this happen every day? And I said, what do you mean happen every day? She said, do this many kids come and watch you rap? I said, yeah. She said, you got talent. I'm like, come on, Miss Martinez. Come on, Miss Martinez. Yeah, whatever. I'm 17 years old, so you know how you think when you're 17. You think you know it all. And clearly I didn't. And one day, she finds me, and she gives me this invitation to a DMX video shoot. This is DMX 97, 98. I'm talking about DMX's volcanic fire. Everybody's on the DMX at this point. And she's like, go grab your knucklehead friends. And y'all gonna be extras in this video shoot with DMX. I said, oh, what, DMX? Yeah, we gonna be at DMX. And then when I went to go grab the invitation, she kept pulling it back. And finally I snatched it, and when I snatched it, she goes, I don't ever want anything from you in life. All I ever want is for you to thank me when you win your first award at an award show. And I was like, come on, Miss Martinez, you crazy. Whatever, all right. Well, that invitation to that video shoot, I ended up battling one of the Rough Riders at the time. He was coming up, his name was Dragon. And so it's Swiss Beats, Dragon, myself, the whole crowd's there, we rapping back and forth. And it was fun. I had home court advantage, so therefore I could flip English, Spanish, Creole, Patois. I could flip all kind of things with them, and everybody was losing their mind. And this guy named Irv Gotti pulls me to the side after the battle. Irv Gotti was the biggest producer at the time, which brought Jay-Z, Ja Rule, and DMX to Def Jam. He made Def Jam again, right? And he asked me, you the one causing all this ruckus up here? And I'm like, yeah. He said, you write music? I'm like, nah, man, I just freestyle. He said, yeah, that freestyle shit is cool, but it don't make no money. I said, gotta start writing music. And it's right. A decade later, I figured it out. It's a free style. It ain't a paid style. You know, so now it's a paid style at this point. But either or, it was that teacher believing in me that got me to that video shoot, believed in my talent more than I did. I got the opportunity that I was preparing for, met Irv Gotti, and that's what got me writing music. And from there is when my career took off. And then I ended up doing a record deal with Luther Campbell here in Miami. So who better than Luke, you know, to do something with? And that just goes to show you how powerful it is. Now, I'll tell you this much, guys. You're living in a world of distraction. Whether you have a tattoo or you don't have a tattoo, tattoos are permanent, right? They're for life. Well, anything you post in them phones, that's a digital tattoo. It's there for life. Don't get distracted with followers and likes and followers and likes and followers and likes. No, you don't want to be followers and likes. You want to be leaders and unique. Leaders and unique make a difference. Take a risk. That's how you really live out your dream. But if you're worried about what everybody's talking about you, forget about it. Then you're caught up in the noise. I still got a BlackBerry. You know why I got a BlackBerry? Because I might like the iPhone. What I might like about it, it gives me access to everything. So then I'll get distracted from what my focus is. What does BlackBerry allow me to focus on? Family, business. That's all I need to focus on. I don't care what they say about me or they don't, because you'll never make everybody happy. That's for sure. And on the internet, you got a bunch of internet gangsters. They talk a whole lot, but you'll never see them, and they'll never really, how should I say, you'll never really handle that situation the way you feel it should be handled. So for you guys, at the end of the day, it's called a cell phone for a reason, because you become a prisoner to it. All right? You guys, utilize it. Don't let it use you. Technology's great. I ain't got nothing against technology. Maybe these guys that run these companies, I may have a few words to exchange with them in the future. But you utilize it, don't let it use you, then you'll be able to unlock whatever, your dream may be. But literally, the world is at the palm of your hands. And it all depends on what you're doing with it. And especially at this age, I can't imagine being your age in a university having to deal with everybody knowing about everything you do and how you do it, who you do it with, and why you did it, didn't do it. I don't even know. I'm confused just speaking about it, to be honest with you. So my biggest advice to you guys, to everybody here, I would say, is don't get caught up with the hype. When we were growing up, they say, believe none of what you see. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Now it's believe none of what you hear and none of what you see. Because everybody now, they try to act like they're living a life that they're not. They try to be somebody that they're not. And I'm telling you because I deal with it. I deal with it. It's a part of my industry, a part of my business. But it messes with me when it influences people that are trying to create something in their life. So don't get caught up with that. Bottom line, focus, envision, set goals, believe, and not selfish, but self first. And what I mean by self first, love yourself first. Help yourself first. Believe in yourself first. Then you can love others, help others, and others will believe in you. But if you ain't in tune with yourself, believe me, you ain't fooling anybody but yourself. And the answer became a little longer than that, but that's how you help these kids.
That's what we want. So who are some of your heroes and why?
Oh, my heroes, my mom. She's my superhero. And why? Because obviously your mother's gonna love no matter what. To me, a woman is the most powerful thing in this world. And it's the truth. They're definitely a lot stronger than we are, I'll tell you that much. You try giving birth. My mother taught me what it was to be a critical thinker, not a criticizing thinker. It's easy to criticize. It's hard to be critical. Now they call it conspiracies. No, I ain't a conspiracy. I'm just thinking, as you should. I'm not in the world of following the cattle getting, slaughtered in the slaughterhouse. I'm not in the world of being sheep. I'm in the world of thinking. She taught me how to do that. On top of giving me that love, she taught me how to survive. And that, to me, is the best quality she could have ever given me. And I thank her for that every day. But the reason that, on another level, she's a superhero, that's why I come up with that. On top of Miami being hot, they got these lights up here that it feels like the sun's on us right now. But, so, my mommy, that's why I came up with no losing, only learning, no failure, only opportunities, and no problems, only solutions. Because that's what she would do all the time. No matter what situation we were in, she always found a way to make it positive and not dwell on the situation, but yet, hey, how are we going to figure this out? Whether it be evictions, whether it be lights cut off, no food, You know, the story, a lot of our stories. But either you could dwell on it, or you could take that hopelessness and say, I don't ever want to feel like this again, and let it drive you, and let it be that passion, and let it be that hunger, and let it be that intuition that you get to take advantage of every opportunity that you possibly can. That is what my mother gave me, and that's why she will forever be my superhero. So one time for mommy right quick. Yeah! My other hero, abuela. My heroes are the most powerful women in my life. Abuela, because everything that she went through in order to be here, and todos los consejos que ella me ha dado todos los días, all the advice that they always give you, because we live life through little slogans. So, dime con quién tú andas, te digo quién tú eres, vago trabaja doble, ¿cuál es el otro? Barato sale caro, paso corto, vista larga. So these are all advice that they just say to you every day when I would be around my grandmother. I didn't see her every day. And they stick to you. And she would always tell me, Armandito, uno tiene que volar como la águila. You always need to fly like the eagle. So I came up with a slogan, and I say, fly high like an eagle. Don't fly low with egos. Everybody got egos. And when you're around people that got egos, all they're trying to do is bring you down instead of letting you fly high. How do egos fly? They fly by themselves. They fly high enough to see what's going on and make a decision on when they're going to go and snatch up their prey. The way they raise is amazing too. They raise by actually pushing the little eagle off the cliff and going back up and picking it up and bringing it back until the eagle figures out how to fly. And then, hey, boom, life is on you now. That's how I feel about the kids at 18 years old. Boom, life is on you now. I did my job. But her giving me that advice is something that I apply every day. And when they speak about, oh, you know, my family went through this, my family went through that, I'm like, man, my grandmother was a rebel. Was up there in the mountains. God knows what she's seen and she hasn't seen. But she's the same one that would make me café con leche con tostada, you know, un pan con tomate. And that to me was an amazing dynamic. You know, like, wow, abuela's so real. And Tia is my other hero. You know, and it's the same for the same reason as abuela. And it's later on in life where you enjoy those moments. And that's why I would hate for you, no, I don't hate anything. I would dislike for you guys to lose your life and time just staring at a screen all day, worrying about what other people worrying about. I'm telling you, again, life do like this. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're 30 years old and going, what just happened? But I don't think that is going to happen to anybody in this room. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and we're all here for a reason. I know y'all going to leave here motivated, inspired, and Tupac has an amazing line, may he rest in peace in paradise, is, I'm not the one, meaning Pac said, I'm not the one that's going to change the world, but I'm the one that's going to spark the mind of the one that is going to change the world. And that's what I'm looking at here today. So again, it's an honor, a blessing, and priceless to be here.
So you started rapping when you were...
Como Hialeah. Only people from Hialeah scream like that, brother. Hialeah, agua, fango y factoría.
Si tú pasas por mi casa y tú ves a mi mujer.
We need Laz up here now.
Hey. So you started rapping when you were really young, but you didn't turn into a superstar overnight.
Oh, no.
What stories can you share with us about rejection and failure that you encountered early on and how you pushed through those?
Well, still not a superstar. Far from it. I'm a hard worker. I never set my mind to be the best rapper or the best musician or talent out there. Now, music to me is a hustle. It really is, and it's allowed me to create a different life and path and break chains for my family and the generation to come. But my goal was always to outwork you. So while they were sleeping or going to the clubs and acting a fool and acting a donkey, I was in the studio making sure I was knocking out records. Anytime an opportunity, I was there. And what did I do? I respected everybody's time. When someone told me to be there at noon, I'm there at 11:30. When someone told me, I'm gonna need you at this spot, reputation is your word, it's your bond, that's all you got at the end of the day. And what do they say about reputation? It takes a lifetime to create a reputation, seconds to destroy it. So you gotta protect it with everything that you got. So that was my goal coming up in the game, is like, I'll outwork you. And I'm still an underdog. Still an underdog to this day, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. And as far as rapping early, it was actually a friend of mine. His name's Cubo, and we call him Cubo because he's Cuban, Puerto Rican. And otra mezcla que es candela, brothers. And I saw him rapping, and I was like, man, I love how he's flipping words. And so I was probably like 15 years old. I was already in love with hip-hop. And again, you know what makes hip-hop so beautiful? That it brought everybody together. It teaches us about each other's struggles, and we can all see, like, oh, okay, you go through the same thing we go through. It's just a different city. You know? But poverty's poverty at the end of the day. Struggle. And you real recognize real. Hip-hop has allowed that to happen. I don't know what's going on right now, to be honest with you. That's something different. May God bless them. But, so, being that the goal was to outwork everybody, in my industry, in the music business, believe it or not, when you get to a certain level, people don't like to work. They like to be late. They like to mess up their reputation. They think that they're really that hot. And believe me, in the laws of physics, it says it all. What goes up must come down. And they don't even think about that. So the same people you see on the way up, you're going to see on the way down. Question is, what kind of relationship did you build? Were you about your word? Was your reputation? Were you on time? Those are the people that are going to constantly want you to win again, because nothing's forever, that's for sure. And in the music business, you're here today and you're gone today, especially right now with what's going on. It's like dope money. Comes quick, leaves quicker. Play with it. So the only reason that I continue to, and when I say I mean we, I don't do this by myself, have an amazing team that has the same goals, same visions. We believe in each other. I'm not a boss. No, we're all leaders. We're partners. We advise each other on what the next step should be and what are the goals that we need to accomplish, right? But when they tell me, Chico, you're so lucky, Chico, when I'm in the neighborhood sometimes, Chico, you're so lucky, Chico, man, look at you, what you doing? I said, man, you know what's funny? The harder I work, the luckier I get. Everybody, what happens in the game, 9 out of 10 of them, they get comfortable. And let me tell you what getting comfortable equals. Complacency is the cousin of death. The minute you get comfortable, someone got your spot. What's he rapping in Spanish? I'm rapping French. What's he rapping? Chinese. No matter what happens, someone's looking at you to slip, fall, and just waiting to take that opportunity. One of the GOATs was right there when someone slipped and took advantage of the opportunity. Tom Brady. Talk about an underdog. 6th round, nobody looking at him. 3rd string, they're like, man, this guy's slow, can't throw, he's horrible. The opportunity came about when someone got injured. He got in there, and he seized the moment, and since then, he ain't let it go. Why? Because I guarantee you he outworks everybody out there. Things don't just happen. They're not a divine intervention. No, they're by design when people perform at that level. So for everybody out there, again, don't believe the hype. Don't believe living in a world of instant gratification, that instant gratification exists. Hard work pays off, bottom line. There is no secret to it, no secret sauce, no magic. You work hard, and it will pay you back, I promise you. Take that to the bank, that's a guarantee.
What was your latest failure, and how have you overcome it, or how did you grow from it?
My latest failure, I would say, let me see. Okay. So I do speaking engagements, clearly, all around the world. I've been very blessed to be able to travel the world with someone that not only do I look up to, he's a mentor, he's a friend, and he's and also a business partner, which is Tony Robbins. All right? And as I was getting booked for these speaking engagements around the world, I got a chance to go speak in Mexico. Bueno, para todos los mexicanos allá afuera, ya tú sabes. And I went to go speak in front of this family, huge family in Mexico, very well respected, amazing reputation, and it's Carlos Slim. It's the Slim family. Yeah. Well, don't worry. If y'all don't know about Slim, they own everything in Mexico, even like the piece of ice cube. When it moves, they getting paid one way or another. Serious business family, but amazing people. Stand up, solid, good hearts, and want the best for their country and the people. So it was an honor to be at this speaking engagement. So when I get to the speaking engagement, something got lost in transition. They thought I was going to perform. I'm like, well, clearly we didn't come prepared for that. And then on top of that, the people that we were doing the Q&A with, instead of it being a Q&A, something very positive, it became como más de chisme, more about gossip and, you know, what do I do with this one and that one and that. I said, this is not what I'm here for. And I lost my cool a little bit there. That was one of the last failures that I still replay in my mind, that I can't wait to get in front of Carlos and his son and let them know that, hey, I apologize for getting out of character at an amazing event in front of a family that I respect so much, that I also try to mirror what they've done for my generation and everybody coming up. You know, not only my family, but our culture coming up. So that to me is the last one that plays back in my mind. And again, what you got to do, there's this thing, there's a saying that I got. It's called all G, ALLG. You admit it, let it go, learn, and grow. Admit it, let it go, learn, and grow. And if you could do that, there's a lot of things in life that you'll be able to accomplish. As soon as you let that pride down, that ego down, and you can just say, damn, my bad, you know what? I apologize about that one. Let it go, learn from it, and grow. Now, if I do that again, y'all can look at me like a donkey. which is a good one that I heard, what's his name? The owner of Mr. Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. He said, I know y'all know the saying, you could take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. You heard that one before, right? Well, Mr. Jones got a better one. He says, you can take a donkey to the water, but you can't make it a horse. So therefore, don't be a donkey, okay? Learn from it, move forward. Oh, thank you.
So we want to talk for a few minutes about your personal branding. I think a lot of students have come up, believing they need to start developing their brand. And certainly you've, over time, changed, expanded your name from Mr. 305 to Mr. Worldwide. And you've become known for the way you dress as well. So what kinds of lessons have you learned along the way in terms of branding and how you've developed your brand that might be something you want to share with those trying to figure out what their brand should be?
All right, so the way that I approach, the game and life, let's just say, is, you constantly got to be ready to grow. And for some people, it's growing pains. They're scared of growth. And again, they just stay complacent. They stay comfortable. I was never afraid to grow and try new things, because my teacher, Hope Martinez, said a slogan to me, or gave me advice and said, the biggest risk you take is not taking one. And I always thought about that. So anytime I felt like something was a risk, I was like, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm committing myself to this. Growing up in Miami in the 80s, we had a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startup companies. They were just around cocaine. That's what it was. But I saw a lot of hustlers. I saw a lot of people trying to create business behind what they had going on. Some of them stayed illegal, some turned legal. They flipped their whole life around, but they found ways to invest into either, dry cleaners or construction or landscaping services, whatever it may not be, from negative to positive. So being around that growing up, I saw what hustling was. And I had the same hustle, same street mentality, just a different product. The product was music. So with music, when I saw, like in any hustle, I'll give you an example. On social media, the first cool thing was MySpace, right? Then that got played out. Then Facebook. Oh, no, I ain't Facebook. My parents on Facebook. Twitter, oh, I ain't on Twitter no more. The president's on Twitter. I don't know. Instagram. So what we call it down here is hitting a lick. When you hit a lick, that means you got onto something before anybody else is onto it. But when everybody figures out what the lick is, it's no good no more. It lost value. Or like they try to say, in these companies, it dilutes. It depreciates. Right? So you lost the hustle. So in order to keep the game on its toes, what do you got to do? You got to create new hustles. You got to create new grinds, things that people are not looking at. So in music, what I learned was while everybody, so obviously, who doesn't know my story, I worked the music, I worked the mixtapes, I worked the DJs, I worked the streets. I know everybody in the game, in Miami, we all came up together at that time. That time was, obviously Luke, he's the king, Trick, he's the mayor, Ross, he's the boss, but you got Flo Rida came up at the same time. Me, Rick, Flo, Trick was right before us, Trina was right before us, and then Khaled did his thing, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Who else? Laz is huge for us down here as well, right? But I saw something and I said, man, everybody is doing the same music. And I was down in Dominican Republic, and there's this big, di que pa todos los dominicanos aquí, que lo que. So I was down in Santo Domingo, and I saw this beautiful Dominican woman dancing to this song from a DJ called Bob Sinclair. And the name of the song is World, Hold On. And it had that whistle in it. So, and in my mind, I'm looking at her dancing, and I go, I bet you anything she doesn't speak English. Let me check. So I went up to her, and I said, oye, mira, te veo aquí bailando esta canción. Di que esta canción me encanta, esto es lo último. She's telling me, yo digo, ¿tú hablas inglés? She goes, poquitico. And I said, do you speak English? She said, no, just a little bit. I said, do you know what this song's saying? She goes, no, in Spanish, no, but I love it. And I'm like, this is the kind of music I need to be making. I need to be making music that speaks to you whether you understand the language or not. I gotta find music that's timeless, global music, universal language music. And then I jumped on the Bob Sinclair. Did the remix, record took off. When I get to the neighborhood and I run into all the boys that I know from back in the day, Pit done sold out. What you doing them DJ records for? Well, about 3 years later, I was like, you're right, I sold out. I sold out every arena and stadium I've been performing at since the last 3 years. And it took that risk where I saw, all right, everybody's up on this lick. Everybody knows the game at this point here. How do we create a new offense? How do we create, it's almost like what the Bulls did, Phil Jackson did with the triangle offense. Nobody was looking at that, but it won them about 11 championships with the Bulls and the Lakers, right? So same thing. I started jumping on world music, and nobody wanted to do it because they felt that it was going to hurt their credibility. Let me tell you something. If you're worried about your credibility, it's because you were never credible in the first place. Because you're worried about what other people think about you. You got to go for it. And at first, they're not going to see it because to have vision is to understand everybody else is blind. But when they do, then everybody's on it. So the DJs blew up. They all blew up, whether David Guetta, Tiesto, Afrojack, Benny, you name it. We did all those records. And then everybody started jumping on DJ records. And I said, ooh, got to figure out the next one. What's the next lick? So in 2016, we opened the World Cup down in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. Now, when are Brazilians here? See what I'm talking about? Miami's a melting pot. Yeah. So we did the World Cup in Brazil. And that's when I said, oh, wait a second, we got to flip the game. And I decided to go independent at that point. I was like, nah, I got to find a new lane, find something that nobody's really messing with at this point. It's taken about, I want to say about 4 years. Found the lane, and it came with a whole new industry, which is NASCAR, the country world. And what is it that I love about the country world? Excuse me. Their professionalism. The way that they handle people, the way they treat people, there's general principles, there's morals, there's thank yous, you're welcome, excuse me, please. It's not like what it was in the other worlds that I've been involved with. And that's happening as we speak right now, and we have a record coming out with Zach Brown in April. So get ready for that. And you know, I'm going to take this time also. I want to say congratulations to Daddy Yankee, who has the #1 album in the world right now. And, you know, Yankee's been in the game about 25 years. I've been in the game 22 years, and we've watched each other grow. And I'm very, very proud of him. I'm very happy for him. And he said he's going to retire. I just don't know if it's like one of them Jordan/Brady retirements, but I hope he enjoys it. I'm very, very proud of him. So it's to everybody out there, just take that whole story and embody it with one advice, one slogan. The biggest risk you take is not taking one. Bottom line.
So we're going to be pivoting over to some student questions. These questions are from the audience, whether they were pre-submitted or they're live right now.
All right.
Our first question is from Sophia from New Jersey. How did you decide on Pitbull for your stage name?
Sophia from New Jersey. Wait, is she in the audience or she's in New Jersey? Okay, bueno, Sophia, I can see you, but thank you for the question. And how did I get the name Pitbull? All right. I grew up around a lot of different folks. One of my best friends was Dominican. His name is Junior. And one day we were on our way, you know, we're in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, they used to fight dogs. It is what it is. It's a part of the culture. And we were on our way to a pit fight. And when we're on our way to fight, Junior turns to me and he's like, "That's your name. Your name's Pitbull." And I'm like, "Yeah, actually got a little ring to it. I like that. Pitbull, pit, yeah. And then as I did my research on pit bulls, they're stereotype dogs, as people feel that they're very aggressive, but they're not. They're a part of their environment. If they're in an aggressive environment, they become aggressive dogs. But I don't know if you know this, and fun fact, pit bulls were actually early on babysitters for babies. You know, that was the dog you wanted around the baby because that's how much they love and that's how much they protect. And then what made the irony behind it is that, I always say it's the truth, I'm the only legal pit bull in Dade County because they're all illegal in Dade County. And that's what I looked at. And I saw the fight in a pit. When it bites, it locks, it doesn't let go. And it fights to the death for what it believes in. And what I stand for is, I stand for the world. But anywhere I go in the world, I represent 305 Dade County, Miami to the fullest. You know? And if it wasn't, again, you know, just to circle back, if it wasn't for the city, I wouldn't be who I am. And that's what this pit fights for. You know, when they get to talking about Miami, you're saying, no, partner, I think you're mistaken. O como dicen los cubanos, dicen, estás equivocado. No, completamente equivocado.
Awesome. So our next question is from Taylor, who is from Bel Air, Maryland. Taylor,
Maryland.
Sounds like Taylor's here.
Taylor's there? Hey, Taylor, how you doing, mama?
There's Taylor. So Taylor asks, what lessons from your youth were important to your success?
The lessons from my youth that were very important to my success. Remember, when you're growing up in a certain environment, you can easily become a product of that environment. My environment was you either playing sports, you're selling dope, or you're going to prison and dying. It's that really that simple. That's the multiple choice, you know, A, B, C, D, that's it. Or all of the above. What I learned from that is I got a chance to see what I didn't want out of life growing up. But even, I started working when I was 5 years old at a flea market on Northwest 7th Street and 37th Ave, which is the Flagler dog track. And from there, you know, I parked cars at 6 years old. I cleaned bird cages at 7. I sold everything with my mom. My mom sold everything, you name it. So I would knock on doors with her, and I learned what that rejection felt like, right? But the rejection, again, became gasoline to the fire. Like, oh, I got this pitch on lock for the next door. Pop, pop, pop. Hey, by the way, you know, you learn that. I cleaned houses with my mom. And all of that taught me how to appreciate hard work and opportunities. And that's what I learned from growing up, you know, being there in those situations and just appreciating anything you got your hands on, whether it was a piece of food, a place to stay. I can't even count how many places we've lived in Miami, and you know, in Georgia I was in a foster home. But these aren't things it's not to play victim, it's to play victor. This is what makes me victorious. This is what makes me who I am. Because you take all the negatives and you make them a positive, because what's a good story without, again, nobody gets on a roller coaster that just goes straight. And life's a roller coaster, baby. You wanted to go up and down and tear and twist and do all of that because that's what makes it worth living, right? So to me, that's the biggest lessons that I learned growing up was just watching that hustle, watching that struggle, watching that sacrifice, and feeling that sense of hopelessness that I never wanted to feel. Well, I learned how to deal with it, but I never wanted my kids to feel that. I never wanted the ones that I love to feel that. And I made a decision when I was about 6 years old. I used to live off of Northwest 7th Street and 49th Ave. And my decision was, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about money. My mother always said, money's a passport, allows you to come and go, but it does not make you, right? So my decision was, you know what I want out of life? I want security, stability, and protection. Because the environment that I was living in, it was just unpredictable. At any given time, anything could happen. And I didn't like that feeling. So that is, not only did I make the decision, I stuck to it. And so I would say, after that whole conversation, security, stability, and protection was the biggest lesson that I learned as a kid and what I wanted out of life.
Guillermo Moreno from Miami, Florida says, or rather he asks, when you have experienced your toughest challenges, how did you find the strength and discipline to keep going?
The toughest challenges. So when they ask me how many kids I got, I tell them I got 10,000 kids because we're up to 12 schools, 10,000 kids. I have 8 kids. And let me tell you, the toughest challenge is helping them navigate through these waters that we're living in right now. And especially, again, I talk about these devices. You feel me? Because when we grew up, so example, before all social media hit, I'm like, man, I got this parenting thing on lock. I got it. I know that they're gonna be straight. Then all of this hit, and it hit everybody at the same time, which reminded me of another epidemic that I grew up around, which was the crack epidemic. You had a crackhead mother, and you had a crackhead baby. And I feel like with technology, I see the same thing. Just a different, they ain't smoking it, they're just looking at it. Because it is addicting, and if you don't think that it's addicting, then you're in denial. You know what they say the longest river in the world is, right? Denial. Think it's a game, play with it. All right? So we still have tough challenges. But I revert back to, that's what living is about. When it gets easy, it becomes boring. And those tough challenges, what you gotta do is you gotta meet them face on, head on. Don't procrastinate. Don't leave something for tomorrow that you could do today. And when you procrastinate, what happens? See, the one thing, y'all can figure out how much money you're gonna have in a bank account. You can see it go up, you can see it go down. You don't have time in a bank account. You don't have time in an account. You can't see it go up, you can't see it go down. You gotta live for the moment. Learn from the past, live for the moment, build for the future. But you gotta live for the moment, right? I say, and feel this moment, it's in the verse. I tell you, I see the future, but live for the moment. Makes sense, don't it? Now make dollars, I mean billions. I'm a genius, I mean brilliant, right? And on another part on that shit, where it keeps going, it goes, I'm a genius, I mean brilliant. The streets is what schooled them and made them slicker than Slick Rick the Ruler. I've lost a lot, I've learned a lot, but I'm still undefeated like Shula, right? For y'all don't know who Don Shula is one of the most historical coaches in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins who had an undefeated season in 1972. No one's been able to do that again. That's why I mentioned Shula, right? So you gotta just take it on. Welcome it. Welcome it. Let it knock you on your ass. You can knock me down, but you won't knock me out. And that is what it's all about. But I can't imagine what it is to get in a certain situation in this day and age and someone videotape it and then you gotta relive that every day over and over and over and over again. That's a challenge that I haven't dealt with, to be honest with you. Because I don't even know how to get on social media, to be honest with you. I hardly know how to turn on a computer. Yo soy guajiro. Guajiro means I'm like I'm a country boy. I like it simple. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. I'm cool. Simplicity is the key to success. So I'll round up that with this. In the word can't is can, and the word don't is do. In the word won't is one, in the word impossible is possible, and in the word impossible is impossible. Once you figure out you're possible, you can break through any barrier, any border, there's no limits, and you live life how you want to live it instead of life living you.
So I have a question that's a bit lighter
All right.
than that, that they're coming in. Let's see, these keep being changed all the time. So this is gonna be our last question.
All right.
Kate from Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
Kate asks,
Yeah.
what is your favorite restaurant in Miami?
Oh, trying to put me in hot water with everybody I know, huh? Well, there's spots that I go to very, very, low key. I don't like to be in the mix. But the one that's most historical to me, because not only is the food amazing, the story's amazing, but also my great uncle was the one that painted it and has the paintings inside the restaurant. And if y'all go, you can see it. His name is Juanito Perez Cruz. And that's Versalles en la Carrera. Yeah.
So we started off talking about your cultural background. We talked a little bit about your journey so far, your career, found out which is the best restaurant to go to in Miami. So we want to just extend our unlimited and undying appreciation for you coming here to the university. On behalf of me and Dean Elton, of everyone that worked on the What Matters to You committee, on behalf of all the students for making their voices heard, let's give another round of applause to Mr. 305, Mr. Pitbull.
Hey. To everybody here today, I just want to let you know it's a true honor, a true blessing, in the same way that I started before. It's remarkable to be one of them little jitterbugs, a little boy in Little Havana parking cars, to being here with you guys today and hopefully motivating and inspiring and letting you know how special it is when you're from Miami, 305 Dade County. No matter if you're not from here, if you're here, you're from here. And anywhere you go, you're going to represent that for the rest of your life. I got a chip on my shoulder, and anywhere I go, I put the crib on my back. I put the Magic City on my back. I put the bottom on my back. Because everybody told us, you can't, you won't, you never will, it's impossible, you're crazy, you're stupid for even trying that. And look where we're at right now, what we're doing. So that you, thank y'all so much. I appreciate the love. And remember this. Remember, okay? No losing, only learning. No failure, only opportunities. And no problems, just solutions. It's that little Chico Pitbull, Mr. 305, better said, Mr. Worldwide. Checking in, checking out. God bless. I don't know about you, but I feel. Let's go, let's go.